Crazy. Jeff Kozak. I think I know who that is. I know that I saw the TV show Kozak. Thank you so much, Rod. Beauty night in McMahon Stadium in Calgary, celebrating a 25th anniversary of the Stampeders' Grey Cup win back in 1992. East meets West, the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Calgary Stampeders.
One guy that'll certainly be important if the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to collect their first win of the season. C.J. Gable, it's his first time in the lineup since week 1 against the Toronto Argonauts. What he brings to the table as a pass blocker is going to be critical in this ball game. Of course, for the Calgary Stampeders, a guy who's been a stud for them ever since taking over the starting job last season. Alex Singleton, among the league leaders in tackles throughout 2017.
Last year's Coach of the Year in the Canadian Football League, Dave Dickinson's team coming off a win against Saskatchewan last week. They've won 12 straight at home. The Stampeders and the slumping Cats. Kent Austin, his team lost 4 to begin this season. This team has not won in Calgary since 2004. Jalen Saunders and Brandon Banks are back. Rene Paredes will kick this off for us tonight on a beautiful Saturday night near the foothills of Alberta. Little breeze in the air tonight, but it's the streaking Stamps And the Cats, who desperately need a win, concluding week 6 in the CFL. Brandon Banks trying to kick it outside. And they have done a great job early in the season containing number 16, Speedy B. Out comes Zach Collaros looking for win number 1 with his team in 2017.
Yeah, Zach Collaros trying to find his rhythm. He's had a little bit of a revolving door in terms of receivers. Some shuffling of that offensive line as well as they look to shore up their protection, make life a little easier on the Ticat quarterback.
1-3 lifetime record against the Stampeders is Collaros. Heartbreaking loss. This team gutted last week. Last-minute drive by Mike Riley and the Edmonton Eskimos stole a win away from the Cats. Here comes the rush. There goes the ball. And out of the backfield right away is C.J. Gable, and they get him involved. Gable has not played for the last 2 games. He draws in for Ross Scheuerman.
Yeah, C.J. Gable in the lineup again, primarily because of what he brings to the table as a blocker. Another big change in the receiving core. Kevin Elliott draws back in, gives Zach Collaros a big target, a guy who can make some of those tough catches that are much needed. Shuffle on the offensive line. Xavier Fulton is out at left tackle. Lamar Holmes slides over. Quintarius Eatman is the new man at right tackle.
They get Gable involved. He's been chomping at the bit after that 14-yard gain by Gable on the pass. This time 7 yards on the run.
And as I just talked about, the shuffling of the offensive tackles for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They will definitely have their hands full with Charleston Hughes, who's red hot last week. Malik Harris is at the weak side linebacker spot as he looks to stake his claim on more playing time as Deron Mayo gets close to returning. Josh Bell is out. The rookie, Tunde Adeleke, out of Carleton, makes his first career CFL start at safety.
Second and short yardage, and it's all been C.J. Gable so far. And again, Gable has been out of the lineup the last couple of weeks, really a numbers game, with Ross Scheuerman taking his spot. Scheuerman was playing very well for the Cats, but they felt tonight, particularly with those green tackles that they have, they might need some Max Pro, better protection in the backfield.
Yeah, C.J. Gable, certainly one of the best in the business in that regard. And obviously a pretty capable running back and receiver as well. That ball control offense, C.J. Gable in that offensive line, getting the ground game going. Cats have been a little more committed to that in the last couple games. They want to keep Calgary off the field, so that's going to be an important part of what they do today.
Might see a lot of quick hitters as well with the stamps in their ferocious front, like this. Quick hitter on the slant pattern. And that's Jalen Saunders, the newcomer this season to the Cats receiving corps, has a 7-yard pickup. Trying to keep the Stampeder front off balance.
Well, no doubt, get the ball out of the hands of Zach Collaros quickly. Here you see 7-man protection. Maximizing that, ensuring Collaros is going to have time. But even at that, they're still going to the quick game. Let guys like Jalen Saunders be athletes with the ball in their hands after the catch.
Stampeders load up the box. 2nd and 3, but Collaros is going to throw. Another quick hitter. That was almost gone for 6. Shaq Richardson had his mitts on it. It's thrown into tight coverage. He jumped that route and almost had his first interception.
Looking to the inside receiver here on that quick out. Well read by Richardson. Watch him jump this. He's making a break to the spot. It's one in that zone coverage. You're not going to lead the receiver to the outside.
Sergio Castillo was knocked down. No flag. Almost had it blocked. Here's Roy Finch, the speedster. Wrapped up near the 18-yard line on a 54-yard kick. Bo Levi Mitchell, 100-yard touchdown. 100 career passes for touchdowns. And he's only been in the Canadian Football League a few years. 7-0 against the Cats. First series here tonight. 3-1-1 to start the new season. Bo Levi Mitchell, those are the numbers he's operating at right now. 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Through his 100th career touchdown pass last week against Saskatchewan. From the 19, 1st and 10. Play action to Messam. And there he goes throwing. Jump ball, knocked down. Was looking for Tavares Daniels. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the CFL. Little too high that time.
Tavares Daniels is, as you said, the CFL's rating Rookie of the Year, averaged over 80 yards per game in his 11 starts last season. They're really looking to try and get him going as he's well off that pace so far this year, with Devon Coleman of the Hamilton Tiger Cats being their toughest pass rusher on the inside. Keep an eye on Brad Erdus, Shane Bergman at the guard spots.
2nd and 10. 3-man rush. Tossing it out into the sunshine. Flag flew on that play. Lamar Durant could not see it in that sun. Let's see what the call is here.
To wonder if the visor and the glare off of that affected Durant even more with the sun.
Receiver, Hamilton number 42, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the drive will continue because of illegal contact. It's Cavell Connor, the new middle linebacker for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This will be an adjustment for him tonight.
Yeah, playing in a little bit more space, different angles, etc. In terms of that pursuit. So that little jack to the head on the receiver.
Former NFLer Jerome Messam coming off a 130-yard plus game, his biggest game in quite some time last week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They got the big train moving early, and he didn't stop.
Yeah, certainly set the tone, giving the ball to Jerome Messam. A great deal out of the gate. He was busy in the first half. 17 of those carries in the opening 30 minutes of that ball game. As you know, Messam at easily over 250 pounds. When he's running the ball, he's wearing out a defense in all kinds of ways.
12-yard pickup, play action this time to him, and this time they give it to their leading receiver, Kamar Jordan, most targeted receiver for the Calgary Stampeders.
I mentioned Devon Coleman in the middle of that defense. He's among the league leaders, particularly among interior defensive linemen in terms of quarterback pressures and hits. Talked about Cavell Connor, the new man at middle linebacker, with Simone Lawrence out of the lineup and Larry Dean sliding over. Abdul Kane makes his Ticats debut.
Another quick one. Knocked down, looking for Durant again over in that sunshine, and that's Richard Leonard, one of the newbies on the corner. Hamilton has 7 new starters in their lineup this season, 7 new faces. They've been rocked with injuries, but then again, so have the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, a number of teams have. It's been talked about so much this week already in the Canadian Football League, the next man up mentality. The Edmonton Eskimos certainly demonstrated that in their victory last night.
Brandon Banks hasn't had quite some time, averaging just 10.8 yards on a punt return. Got to think this guy's due. 40-yard boot. Only a couple of yards as they work to contain Speedy B again. Zach tried to attack tonight in Calgary. Scoreless so far. Collaros and the Tabbies desperate for a victory. 28-year-old former Cincinnati Bearcat out of Steubenville, Ohio, Zach Collaros. Here's what Hamilton did at this point last season to this season.
Yeah, absolutely night and day. And the record is in part the result of the difference in their offensive numbers. The big thing, that touchdown to interception ratio last year, 14 TD passes versus 2 interceptions. This year, only 3 TD passes to 4 interceptions. A lot of that has to do with the pressure Collaros has faced. Penalty
on this play. Collaros tried to thread one into traffic, looking for Saunders. May have an offside call here. A lot of it has to do with pressure, some of it with personnel as well, but Zach Collaros just looks out of sorts to start this season, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Outside, Calgary, number 4. This is a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
I think Collaros is legitimately a little bit out of sync, but everybody looks at the quarterback, but his success depends so much on things around him as well. A lot of that has to do with timing with receivers. There have been changes in that receiving corps, but also the offensive line, and they've got to hold firm for him too.
Good play action, got the Stampeders to bite. 1st and 5, Saunders close to the first down, and there's no doubt that Zach Collaros would like to be the Zach Collaros of old.
When you're not executing as an offense at the level that you feel you should be, that is frustrating. But it's not. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just that everybody wants to win, everybody wants to be great, and we just need need a win, need something to go right for us, and we feel like once that happens, things will start going our way.
Guy who wears his heart on his sleeves too. Second in short yardage, throws a little bubble out to Brian Timms, who could not bring that in on second down. Stampeders thought that CJ Gable might get the ball, and then Collaros overthrows Timms.
Well, they're calling this because it's a high percentage pass. It needs to be a completion. This is the kind of play that needs to be successful for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Whether the throw needs to be in a slightly different spot or Brian Timms just needs to find a way to adjust and make that catch.
Castillo again as the Stamps once again get close. Big kick here. Finch, little head shake. Down he goes after a 63-yard boot. Still zeros on the board. Frustration continues for the Cats offense. Big adjustments for the Cats linebackers tonight with a big hole left by Simone Lawrence. Here's Farhan Lalje on the sidelines.
Yeah, Rod, a strange sight. A Ticat defense without Simone Lawrence is believed to be a bit of a groin injury that he first was dealing with in training camp, and then it got re-aggravated when they played Saskatchewan in week 2, and it's affected his explosiveness and his range, and they decided it was time to shut him down for 1, possibly 2 weeks. But that ends a pretty good run for him. You know, he's been in the Ticats lineup for 58 of 59 games. The only game he missed was the last one of the regular season last year, which was a meaningless game at that time. And speaking of Jeff Reinbold, he says the biggest challenge is not just how good he is in the middle of the field, but when you've got a defense that is that young, having a guy like Simone is like having another coach on the field. He understands the defense. He knows all the calls. He gets those guys in the right spots. And when you lose someone like him, it's got a much bigger effect than just his linebacker spot. They hope to get him back, like I said, 1 to 2 weeks.
No doubt, Farhan, you think about Simone Lawrence and some of the newcomers here tonight. You think about the Calgary Stampeders, maybe licking their lips a little bit knowing number 21's not there.
Well, this is a team that their biggest challenge has been their lack of experience defensively, and that's a guy they can ill afford to be without.
First and 10. There's the blitz. There goes the ball, and into that sunshine, Tavares Daniels tripped up near the 47-yard line. Justin Rogers watching Tavares Daniels on this route.
Yeah, Daniels, the lone receiver out to that wide side of the field. They try to get him in space in isolation, allow him to get open. You have to believe there's sort of an agenda for the Calgary Stampeders at this point to try and get last year's star receiver a little bit more involved in their offense.
Yeah, has not been involved very much. Just 13 catches before tonight. Just the 1 touchdown. Explosive player. Now they run another inside sweep. This time to Mark and Michel. Earlier they ran that same play with Anthony Parker, picking up 7 this time. Richard Leonard making the tackle.
Well, the thing that allows them to run plays like this, quite frankly, is the success they've had in the past, and most specifically, the success that they had last week with Jerome Messam running the ball. You notice that Messam was lined up in the backfield behind the quarterback Mitchell, where he's still a run threat. If he moves up to a spot where he's not going to get a handoff, guys are able to anticipate a play like this coming. But when Messam stays back, those linebackers are held in the box, waiting to see if he's going to get the rock.
Just 1 touch for Messam tonight. This might be his time right here. 2nd and 3. Indeed it is. And Jerome Messam, as usual, carries a convoy with him. We have whistles. We have an injured Stampeder. Devon Coleman was trying to bring down Messam. That is no easy feat.
Yeah, and this goes to my point as to why the linebackers aren't going to loosen up when Jerome Messam remains in a position where he's a run threat. Because you're going to pack the box one-on-one. You don't want to deal with him, even for a 280-pound defensive tackle. He's a handful.
Injured Stampeder is Kamar Jordan, their leading receiver so far this season. 4 receiving touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. The former star out of Bowling Green. Well, got his knee, it looks like.
Yeah, Jordan's trying to get in and block on the play.
Just kind of rolled over, maybe.
Yeah, got the back of his leg clipped right at the end of the play here.
Oh, right there. Right on his ankle. Ooh. Looks nasty. Kamar Jordan's down. We'll step aside and come back to McMahon Stadium in a moment. That's a good sign. Kamar Jordan will try to get a report from Farhan, but running off the field after looking like he had his ankle bent away. It shouldn't be bent.
Well, this certainly a good sign for the Calgary Stampeders and Kamar Jordan.
So Mark and Michel goes wide side up top. We maybe see a little more Tavares Daniels in this drive as well. There's 6 to play first quarter. Lamar Durant. Well, Bo Levi Mitchell, who owns an incredible winning percentage ever since he broke into the Canadian Football League, has a great winning percentage against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Oh, and the Toronto Argonauts, and oh, the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, 3 of 8 potential opponents against whom he has never lost, but it's the Tiger Cats who have been the most frequent victims of the Calgary Stampeders with Mitchell at QB.
2nd and 1, and Jerome Messam. The bus is stopped. May have even stopped for a loss here. They plugged up that middle, and Messam had nowhere to go.
Well, this is one that the Hamilton defense was anticipating all the way. Great push up the middle, Ted Laurent. Right in the middle of that, you see the newcomer at middle linebacker, Cavell Connor, getting involved.
So 3rd and 1, Bo goes to the sideline. That brings in the Canadian backup out of UFC, Andrew Buckley. They're 11 for 11 on 3rd down sneaks this season. This will be really close. Looks like they may have got it though on the progress. Had to get to the 41-yard line. Cats think they made the stop.
It looked like there was a little bit of a bubble there. He seemed to find a soft spot on the left side. It's just a matter of if he got enough yardage here.
Well, the yard marker is at the 41 from the far side. They still have not signaled the first down. They're going to measure this.
And you're in a part of the field from a Calgary point of view where you're going to take this gamble every time.
As well inside the 41, so Calgary will scrimmage again. 1st and 10, trying to keep this thing going. Have not been fast starters this season in first quarters, with the exception of last week. Got it going in the first frame, the opening stanza against Saskatchewan. Nothing on the board yet. Bo, now Chase, looks and fires down the sideline. Trying to lay out, but the ball was thrown out of bounds as well, and Mark and Michel could not make the circus grab. Aaron toss.
Credit the free safety, Courtney Stephen, who is playing up close to the line of scrimmage. He's spying the quarterback, Mitchell. He supplied the pressure that contributed to that throw being a little bit outside.
Stampeders, the West Division champions from last year, and their vaunted offense, just 7th in the CFL to start the season on 2nd down conversions. 48%. Hamilton last. And this will help the Stampeders' cause because it looked like the Cats jumped. Adrian Tracy
Offside.
pleading his cause.
Hamilton, number 5, 5-yard penalty.
It's pretty obvious though.
Penalties have been one of the ongoing issues for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The first third of this 2017 season.
Have given up more yardage on penalties than any other team so far. 2nd and 5. Quick hitter. Durant dropped it.
Yeah, had a little bobble there that gave Khalid Wooten a second chance to get in and disrupt the play.
So after 9 plays on this drive, there's Abdul Kanay in our picture as well. First game of the season for him, first game since last year's Grey Cup. He played for the Ottawa Red Blacks. That dramatic thriller at BMO Field. So Paredes from the 43 puts it up and puts it through. Calgary strikes first here, under 3 to go in the opening quarter. Tonight marks the end of week 6. Week 7 kicking off in a few days. Summertime football tradition. Thursday night football presented by the Brick. Stampeders will head to Toronto. The Argos heading home after losing in Saskatchewan today. Catch the action at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific across the TSN network and in 4K. Sunsplash night here in Calgary. Spectacular day. Celebration of the 1992 reunion of the Grey Cup champions. My partner involved in that celebration. Reunion yesterday. We'll be joined by some guests throughout the night. Doug Flutie in town yesterday. Collaros to Luke Tasker. Malik Harris. High tackle that time to bring Tasker down. His first touch of the night. Just 2 yards on the play.
Well, this is another one of those plays just designed to get the ball out of Zach Collaros' hands quickly, disrupt that timing of the rush of the defensive line for Calgary, but also try to let Collaros get in a little bit of a rhythm, get some confidence early in this ball game.
Second down conversion again for the Cats has been an issue. In fact, they're last or dead last in almost every offensive statistical category as they try to right things here tonight. Collaros, this will be short of the first down. The completion to Mike Jones. Again, the kick team will return to the field for Hamilton.
Good coverage once again by the Calgary Stampeders.
Castillo. A heavy breeze behind him. Finch, there is 13, makes one miss, makes another miss. Now one-on-one, and Roy Finch turns on the burners, and Roy Finch is going to score to the 20, the 10, the 5. It's a touchdown.
And the old guys love it.
97 yards of electricity. Roy Finch. Cats thought they had him, lost him, and then they said goodbye.
Well, the whole key to this return is how quickly Roy Finch gets north-south. He's not running sideways. Right away, as soon as he sees a hole, Roy Finch consistently puts a foot in the ground and turns it up.
One of the handful of electrifying returners in the Canadian Football League, Roy Finch. Takes it to the house. That's the second punt return touchdown for the Stamps this season. Tunde Adeleke actually had the first, the rookie, so the Stamps line up to go for 2 here. Bo, sidearm. Mark and Michel didn't even know that was coming. So the score is 9-0 with 45 seconds to go. How about that return?
Well, fantastic effort from Roy Finch and the rest of that punt return unit. Again, the key in this is typical of every Roy Finch return. He only goes laterally for as long as it takes him to find a seam, and as soon as he sees that, it's all about getting north-south. And in this case, it seemed like he was running back at the coverage unit before they had even broken down on him.
Finch's first punt return touchdown since the Labor Day Classic. And this one was classic for the Classics in the end zone. There's your brothers back there, all the members of the 1992 Grey Cup champions. You think if you win a Grey Cup, you get a better seat. They're having fun back there. They had a tailgate picnic before the ball game. You had to work today.
That's right. It's a work day. Got to visit with the boys a little bit yesterday, both during the day and last evening. I'll leave it to them to hold up the celebration the rest of the way.
Paredes now to kick it off. Special teams, the difference so far. Brandon Banks trying to answer. And he just might. One of Banks' best returns of the new season, up near the 38-yard line. We could see some fireworks here tonight. We have Finch, we have Banks. Got a lot of speed out there.
Well, after a play like that, the Tiger Cats will no doubt be looking to Brandon Banks to answer the bell, respond to the challenge delivered by Roy Finch.
Zach Collaros now trying to get his offense unglued. You see a little more Brandon Banks involved in the offense as well. Like that. It's been a while, though, for Brandon Banks. Remember, it seemed like every week Brandon Banks was returning a touchdown for him.
Well, whether returning or at least a huge threat to return and really impacting what teams did in terms of the way they kicked the ball to him, covered, etc. You see the last 58 kick return touches, only one over 30 yards. That's a cold spell for him. You see the numbers over the last 13 games, well below what we've become accustomed to from number 16 in black and gold.
Last really big play was a missed field goal return last August. Collaros takes a deep shot. There was a penalty flag on the far side. We'll see if the quarter will continue based on that penalty. Zach saying it's contact likely against the Stampeders here.
It looked to me like the Tiger Cats receivers were offside, but I'm not sure if there was other movement on the inside, on the interior prior to that.
Offside. Hamilton, number
Indeed,
16.
you're right.
Penalties decline. Third down.
Collaros wanted a contact call, will not get it, so he'll bring out the kick team. That's the end of the first quarter and another shutout quarter for the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense. Stampeders put 9 on the board thanks to Rene Paredes and also Roy Finch, who takes it to the house. When we come back, we'll help celebrate the 1992 Grey Cup championship team from Calgary. Simply put, he was one of the best Stampeders ever, especially on that line. Number 75, who had his number retired here and honored here, Stu Laird. So many seasons wearing the red and white and that white horse, doing a lot of this, and of course, part of that 1992 Grey Cup championship team that is being saluted. Happy 25th anniversary, Stu Laird. Well, time flies.
Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to be a part of this. I can't stop smiling, and every time I see one of our guys, thank you so much for coming back. It's easy for me. I live here. It's easy for Dwayne. He comes around once in a while anyways. But for these other guys, I've taken a lot of time out from their personal lives to be here with us.
It's going to be tough for 40 to ask questions because he played with you. He was on the team. But go ahead, Dwayne.
Well, you know, the big one for me, Stu, is I know that for you as a guy from Calgary who grew up here, went to college here, really understood the Calgary community, what it meant for you to bring this team their first Grey Cup in 21 years.
Well, as growing up in this city, you're a Stampeder fan, and 1971 was the last championship, and you know, you came in 91. It was such an emotional win that we had in Edmonton. To go on to that field and win in Commonwealth is still, for me, the biggest game that I felt for the Stampeder organization in those years. And to win that Grey Cup, finally win the championship, that you were a part of, and it was just such a special moment in time for all those players and what we were able to accomplish.
What was it like to hang out with the guys? There's that must be cool to come to the stadium and see that.
I know Greg Knox was giving me the gears about it. He says, how come my fonts are bigger than anybody else's? And I told him, because I had the shortest name on the team, STU, so that's the only reason.
But it must have been great to see all the guys, some who you probably haven't seen in a few years.
Absolutely. Carl Bland, Errol Tucker, guys like that, they go back to all these cities across North America, and you don't see them again. So and realistically, this could be one of the last times we see them again.
There they all are.
Yeah, it's you look at those guys, and it's such a great team. We had from top to bottom with coaching staff, the support staff. It was just a family.
What was the biggest surprise for you in seeing the guys for the first time yesterday?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot like that, aren't you, Dwayne? Well, just to see some of the guys that lost a lot more weight than I thought, and then maybe a couple of the receivers, maybe one in particular, who gained a lot more weight than I thought he might have.
There's Jerome Messam. Tough guy to bring down. 28-yard pickup this time. Well, it's picture day as well yesterday, and there's the picture.
Oh, no.
There's number 31. There's my partner there.
Yes.
I don't. That
And
was,
so when you look at this
smiling.
picture, yeah, so what we tried to do is recreate the picture. Everybody's supposed to be in the same position they were in the photo in behind. And what a special moment. I just can't get over it. I'm still smiling.
Isn't that great? Here's Bo Levi Mitchell now. 1st and 10 from the 47. Trying to increase a 9-0 lead. Lamar Durant jumps up and gets it.
So one of the things we talked about a little bit yesterday, Stu, was, you know, we all remember, of course, all the great players from that team, but that was a pretty fantastic coaching staff, too.
Well, you look at how many of those coaches went on to CFL head coaches, and with half even his experience in the NFL. I think that team, top to bottom, is still probably one of the best franchises that was ever put together in the CFL. And unfortunately, we couldn't keep it with 5-3 records and not win another one. Shows you how special it is.
2nd down and 4. Messam in the backfield behind Mitchell, who empties that backfield and now goes over the top, and it's caught, and Markin Michel is down at the 1.
Michel taking full advantage of the extra reps he's getting since that early injury to Kamar Jordan. Makes a nice adjustment to the ball in the air here. Twisting his body, goes up and gets it. Setting his team up on the doorstep here.
From the 1-yard line now. Messam in the pistol. Takes the rock. And carries it to the end zone for the touchdown. Just like those Stampeders from 1992.
Well, you think about the expectation for Stampeder fans from the time when we went to the Grey Cup in '91 and winning it in '92, 5-3 seasons in a row. You get quarterbacks like Doug Flutie, then Jeff Garcia, Dave Dickinson. The football community here in Calgary has very high expectations, and this team hasn't been letting them down.
They've got good ones in this guy, in Messam and Bo Levi Mitchell.
And I think back to when the guys we had, Keevan Jenkins, Dwayne, Andy McVeigh, we had some incredibly talented skill players too.
So they'll line up and they're going to go for 2 once more. Already the Stamps taking it to the Cats here tonight. Mitchell over the top, and how about that? Spencer Wilson. There's a souvenir. You gotta love that one, Stu Laird.
It's always awesome when you can see a big guy get some points and catch a ball like that. They're true athletes, those guys.
Stu, thanks for the memories.
Oh, thank you, guys. And I just want to say thank you, too, to your broadcast crew and everybody at TSN because of the great job that you guys do in helping bring CFL football to all the fans across the country. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, partner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Jerome Messam,
What's up,
3rd
everybody
touchdown of
back
the
home?
season.
Princess Jaya, I love you.
Princess Jaya is his young daughter. Oh, he's making her
I didn't
proud
wanna
these
run over
days
my
the
boy
last couple of
Courtney
weeks.
Stephen. That's my dog, Brampton, so I had to.
And
you know what I'm
how
saying, let
about
him knock the
Spencer
legs
Wilson?
off.
It wasn't a touchdown, but it probably felt like one.
Anytime the big guys get to touch the ball, it feels like a touchdown. Spencer Wilson, I guess he's played every other position along that offensive line over the last few years. This time, no, it didn't look like it. Technically, he lines up as a tight end.
Major trouble for the Cats in this one early on. 17-zip, and a reverse this time to Jalen Saunders, and that was not a good move for the Cats, who are going to now scrimmage from their 14-yard line. 2-point convert, successful.
Yeah, and the key to this alignment, you got to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. The 2 end guys there and there are the 2 eligible receivers. So Spencer Wilson, even though he's lined up at his usual left tackle spot, is an eligible receiver. Does a nice set to delayed, draws John Chick upfield. Everybody else bites because they only see the 5 interior linemen.
Look at how excited those guys are. The Beef gets to celebrate in the end zone. Caleros now, pocket closes, but goes over the top. Jalen Saunders.
We're seeing again that theme of trying to get the ball quickly into the hands of the likes of Jalen Saunders. Saunders, by the way, has the only 100-yard receiving game by a Tiger Cat receiver thus far in 2017. But no surprise to see Alex Singleton, middle linebacker, quickly in on the tackle.
Singleton, who was able to play as a national, his mother born in Toronto. He's like a hybrid Canadian-American. There's a nice slant pattern to Luke Tasker. Clutches that football and is eventually brought down as the Stamps try to rip it out up near the 40-yard line. So the biggest play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now. And don't you get a feeling that they have to find a way to put points on the board even in this drive, or this could get seriously away from them?
And it's not even just about putting points on the board, but finding a way to move the football, get their defense a bit of a break. For one thing, when you've got that Calgary offense, it's not just about the offense being on the field, but about the fact that they're going to run the ball with Jerome Messam, particularly in the early portion of this ball game. You don't want your defense getting worn out before the break. Offense has got to do their part.
Play action. Tasker bounces, pinballs off of Jamar Wall. Looks like Tasker got nicked up as well, and he's feeling it. Jalen Saunders immediately calling to the sideline. He took a big jolt up near the 43-yard line after a pickup of 4.
Yeah, it wasn't the hit that caused Tasker to go down by the look of it. He spun off of that hit and tried to run, but just unable. Tasker is the inside man in that quads formation. Out to the left side. Double outside man kind of clears things for him, but good anticipation by a veteran defensive back in Jamar Wall, recognizing that the second out, that being Tasker, was coming.
Obvious concern on the Cats sideline. Doesn't have far to walk, but he's up, and that's a good sign, a positive sign for Tasker. And again, we'll try to get an update on him.
Injuries to this receiving core have just been an ongoing theme. I wonder if it might have something to do with that left hip, the way you saw that.
Jammed into the turf.
Yeah, the left foot. Had a little bit of a speed wobble with that left leg when he first planted. And Andy Fantuz, of course, has not played at all this season. Terrence Tolliver went down. First quarter, first series, first game.
2nd and 6. There's the rush, and it's picked off. And this is going to go the distance. Shaq Richardson has the touchdown. 47 yards. And that one was easy pickings. And earlier in the ball game, Shaquille Richardson also had a chance to take one back. This time, no doubt.
Yeah, you can't make that mistake twice. Richardson again jumping in front of that out route. This time Kevin Elliott, the intended receiver. The Stamps have put up points today on offense, on defense, on special teams. We're barely 20 minutes into the game.
Richardson, who last year had a couple of sacks for the Stamps. It's his first interception and an interception touchdown. The pick 6. And the convert, 24-0. The Stamps rolling right now. Special teams, offense, and defense. The 25-year-old straight out of Compton.
Dreams are for real. DR4 with the illest. Out of my shorties, my girl.
Former NFLer, draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Shaquille Richardson has his first CFL interception and a pick 6 to boot.
Yeah, and the key to this is Shaquille Richardson knows he's up against a big physical receiver in Kevin Elliott. This is one of the things Hamilton was looking for from Elliott and getting him back in the lineup. Richardson did a great job as Elliott is trying to create a collision, create some separation. Richardson stands his ground, doesn't allow the separation, and that's what put him in position to make that pick.
The hole gets deeper for the Cats. Brandon Banks again can't find any running room. Drop there, and Zach Alaris throws his 5th interception of the young season.
And hands up in Kolaris' face once again as he lets that one go. But that's just a great play by Shaquille Richardson.
Trying to find an antidote for this Stampeder D. 9 of 13, 62 in the pick. Still time before halftime. Pitch it out to C.J. Gable. Runs into a red wall. And gets some extra yardage.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I love this play call. I was just sitting here thinking to myself, Hamilton came out on their first series, put the ball in C.J. Gable's hands a couple of times, had success doing it. Haven't gone back to it since. You're not going to get 24 points back all at once. So there's so much time left in this ball game. There is not an immediate need to stand back and throw the football and try to get huge chunks all at once. C.J. Gable has been your best offensive weapon. Give him the ball. That's going to help you in your passing game eventually.
High toss again and still out of sync, and there's a penalty flag and likely an interference call here, contact call. That was a 13-yard pickup by Gable on the play. And so now the Ticats may be able to advance this even more.
Pass interference. Calgary number 29. This is a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Jamar Well painted up like his fallen teammate Josh Bell, who normally wears that war paint as well.
Jamar Wall at his familiar halfback position, taking on Luke Tasker right here. To me, the timing looked pretty good at full speed.
Alex Singleton and Charleston Hughes. Alex told us yesterday how much of a leader Charleston Hughes has been and how much of a mentor he has been to the young linebacker. Charleston, who does a lot of talking, but also a lot of teaching, has helped the smiling assassin immeasurably. Alex Singleton smiles at anything.
Well, this is a guy who just loves playing football, plain and simple. The kind of guy any team would want to have.
Makes plays. All began last September. He's showing blitz right here. Here comes Singleton. There's the rush. Collaros with time. Slinging it. Luke Tasker can't get to it. Another wobbler that time from Zach Collaros, and he had Tasker. And once again, Sergio Castillo will have to boot it back to Roy Finch and the Stampeders.
Yeah, Collaros recognized that Luke Tasker had a step on his defender, tried to throw him a little further open towards the middle of the field. Didn't step into that one quite the way he would have liked to with pressure closing.
5 punts already for Hamilton, no points, and an interception. Oh, now they're thinking about faking it. And the pass is incomplete. Sergio Castillo. I'm not sure how many times Castillo has played quarterback. Threw up a floater, and it went incomplete. It's all going wrong right now. Castillo throws up a duck. Under the headline, yikes. Sergio Castillo good with the legs. That was not a great toss, looking for Jay Langa.
Listen, I think someone neglected to tell Sergio Castillo that in the CFL they don't give 5 steamboats.
And then he got plastered too. Looking for Langa. So it gets worse here for the Cats, already down 24-0.
Well, they're lucky that they don't have to line up with a receiver kicking the ball after the way Castillo got blasted on that one.
They're also very lucky that that ball, because it was floating duck, wasn't picked off and taken the other way as well.
But you can see the desperation of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, so just trying to get something going, trying to make a play, trying to keep their offense on the field.
Played so well last week in the loss to Edmonton, giving up that game-winning touchdown in the last minute. All Stampeders here tonight, crossing pattern. Maybe it'll be the defense that has to make a difference here for the Cats to get them back in it. With an injury update, let's go to the sideline. Here's Farhan.
Guys, we saw earlier in the first quarter when Kamar Jordan got his leg rolled up on by Jerome Messam. Jordan will not be back in this game. It's a knee injury. Initially, we thought it might have been an ankle. When he got to the sideline, the doctors were putting him through a bunch of mobility tests with that knee. And when they told him he couldn't play, he was pretty emotional about it. Right now, he's got a bit more of a smile on his face, some ice on his knee, but he will not be back in this one. And right now, guys, it doesn't look like they need him.
No, they don't at this stage. Shredding the Cats, Jerome Messam. But that still is a big loss, and to see how long it is for Kamar Jordan, who has really become a revelation in that Stampeder offense. And Calgary's just done that for years and years and years. The players who have been able to step in at the right time when opportunity knocked have been able to make a difference.
Well, and Kamar Jordan is a guy for whom you have to be very happy. This isn't a guy who came out of nowhere. I mean, this is his 5th season in which he spent some time with the Calgary Stampeders. First came up in 2013 for a stint on the practice roster, didn't see any game action. 2014, caught 1 pass. 2015, 2 passes. Finally, the final third of last year, he really got an opportunity to play a stretch of games and has proven himself as a very good CFL receiver.
Rob Maver was looking for that coffin corner, but we'll get the single point. Taking it out of bounds. Coming up, GMC professional grade playbook at halftime. 6.5 minutes or so. Henry Burris, Hank, on how D's are playing the read option. Defensive ends are playing the read option.
Charleston Hughes among those defensive ends getting it done. Coming off a big week last week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Swarming Calgary front. Polaris. Cole throws his strike. Tasker still looks like he's feeling the effects of that earlier hit. This was Charleston Hughes. At this time last week, he had 3 sacks.
3 sacks and at least as many one-liners.
Thought he had 4.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster in fine form. Last week, Charleston Hughes, 2nd all-time in sacks among Calgary Stampeders.
And a whistle. Flag on the sidelines. Like the receivers jumped here and had a head start, so again, Hamilton's going to be backed up.
Offside. Hamilton, number 89. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And these are the self-inflicted wounds that have been a factor in Hamilton's slow start, but that will drive a coach absolutely nuts. You understand that you're dealing with inexperience at certain positions, guys who haven't played a lot. This is at least the 2nd receiver to go offside. It's your starting quarterback. They're not changing quarterbacks. You know his cadence.
2nd and 9, rush from the end, and look out, Charleston Hughes sacks Zach. Swim move. And the first sack of the night goes to Charleston Hughes, coming off a 3-sack performance a week ago.
Well, let's take a look at how he got this one done. Tough position. Hamilton's trying to pop the guard out of their protection to get to the outside guy. With the quickness of Charleston Hughes off the line, that's a tough block for Brandon Revenberg to get to.
A little freestyle in the backfield. Roy Finch, who's already returned one and kind of got the Stampeders ignited after a slow start here tonight. 6-yard pickup, and Charleston Hughes continues to snack. 93 career sacks, 6 away from Will Johnson.
I'm not going to reminisce too much today, but all 3 of the other guys in that top 4 were part of the 92 Grey Cup
There you
champions.
go. Well, that's why we're showing that. Stu Laird, record for Canadian-born players for most sacks all time. There's Will Johnson up there. And
yeah, Will, now a police officer here in Calgary. He's in the house today.
Bo Levi Mitchell gonna put the hammer down on the hammer. Floating it out, Markin Michel with a cutback down near the 10. Right now, the Stampeders are making this look easy. What a toss from Bo Levi Mitchell.
Well, you'll see Mitchell adjust as he progresses through his reads and looks out to the left side. First, he's going to see Lamar Durant, who goes left to right in motion. He's in the flat, looks there as the Tiger Cats bite down on that flat. That opens up Markin Michel over the top. Mitchell pulls it back and delivers. And Michel continuing to provide great production with Kamar Jordan out of the lineup.
Already over 100 yards receiving, just 2 catches in the game. Handed off to Messam. Here's number 2. Right now, the horses are running wild and flexing their muscles. And the relentless Stampeders are absolutely rolling.
Oh, with all the confidence in the world, even as this one gets stuffed up briefly in the backfield, still not enough to corral Jerome Messam.
A week ago, Hamilton actually had the lead at the half and after 3 against Edmonton, who they will play next week. Point after good. 32 big points on the board for Calgary. Stampeders pitching a shutout. Everybody's getting tired right now, including that horse. All right, thank you, boys. Jerome Messam, a pair of touchdowns.
That's for you, my guy. Let's go. Keep it up.
All from inside the 5-yard line. But it's been the big plays from the Stampeders that have done in the Cats so far here tonight. Hamilton has not had any big plays and any rhythm whatsoever.
One more for the hat trick, baby.
And Jerome looking for the hat. Play action here this time.
Yeah, another big play given up by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That inexperience on the back end shows they've had changes back there every week. Just struggling to find continuity, struggling to find confidence, which certainly has not been a problem for the Calgary Stampeders, and particularly number 33 the last couple of weeks.
Dissecting the Cats so far. We need to put something on the board. Anything, something positive before halftime. And out of the backfield, Mercer Timmis,
former University of
played
Calgary
here.
star.
Set a lot of records here, as a matter of fact. Timmis did. Just a 2-yard pickup.
Getting worked into that backfield along with C.J. Gable.
Another 2nd down conversion attempt for a besieged Zach Collaros. Here they come again. He takes another shot and completes the pass. And Tasker on his feet will actually bring it into Calgary territory. Still hope to put some points on the board for Hamilton. Finally a spark, and Collaros took a shot. Fortunately for he and the Cats, the pass completed.
Yeah, you'll see James Vaughters comes all the way on the loop. Gable had a little bit of trouble tracking him as he was in traffic. This is a great clutch throw, first of all, by Collaros. The heads-up play by Luke Tasker.
And .205 to go. There's a challenge
Calgary
by Dave
challenging
Dickinson.
The previous play, they believe the ball carrier was down with contact.
Thought he was
The
down
play
by
will be
contact. Even with a 32-0 lead, Dave Dickinson coaching it to the limit here. Never letting up. Let's see if Tasker got up. Well, maybe just by that hand at the end. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think the interpretation of this is going to be that the collision here causes him to go down, and he has the ball at that point.
So that ball is likely going to come back. Could be a successful challenge.
After review, the ball carrier was down with contact at the Hamilton 41-yard line. It will be a first down for Hamilton at the 41-yard line.
A 12-yard pickup instead of the 33, so they lose 21 yards on that. They continue with their drive. Kent Austin, who has remained positive through this dry spell, this drought. Cats seem to come out of the gate slowly every season. Been able to correct things. Feels they're getting closer and closer. Tonight, though, reality bites. Saunders up near the midfield stripe.
The Ticats looking to close out this first half on a positive note. A couple of key completions.
Collaros again and Tasker again. Richardson with the tackle. Buddy, you got to go downstairs, I hear.
We'll see.
Enjoy your time with your ex-mates. At halftime, they will be saluted here. Second and 5. Collaros slinging it to the far sideline. And again, that pocket was collapsing and pressure once more. Fierce front seven for the Stampeders, harassing Collaros right from the beginning of this ball game. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. It'll be third down here. Looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field. Austin, though, is talking with Andre Prue, and is it related to that last play?
Hamilton is challenging the previous play. They believe Calgary number 0 was holding their receiver number 12. The play will be reviewed.
Interesting in this situation is that Kent Austin has only challenged twice this season. Last week was really a last gasp challenge, pulling at all the stops, so really his first true challenge. So they're looking at that matchup with Seontae Evans and Mike Jones. Again, the 5 yards, the buffer area that a D-back has a chance to jam a receiver. After that, you have to let them go. It's before CFL command right now in a 32-0 game. We're not even at halftime. Here it is again. Not sure there was anything there. Once again, here's Andre Prue.
Review, the ruling on the field stands. It is an incomplete pass. Hamilton is charged with their first team timeout. Third down.
Kent still without a successful challenge this season, just the 2 challenges, but won't keep his offense out there. Ticat locker room will have to find some way to make any adjustments at halftime. Our guys in the studio will talk about this demolition coming up in another minute. And it looks like Hamilton finally is on the board. Single point. Long way to go. As our same thoughts for many in the Amazing Race Canada. Teams will have to stay strong, think fast, and play hard. Amazing Race Canada, all new Tuesday at 8 on CTV. Wayne Ford has made his way down to the field where his 1992 championship team will be honored at halftime. Bo Levi Mitchell bringing back some memories of that team here tonight. That team was so explosive. There he is, putting on number 31, known for 34, but wore 31 then. Team that was quarterbacked by Doug Flutie in 1992. Wayne was a member of that team. Jerome Messam now. Messam makes him miss him again. Slow to get up. 19 yards. .68 on the night, coming off 135 last week. 28 carries against Saskatchewan. Bo Levi Mitchell still putting up more yards here. Tavares Daniels with more on that 92 team. Let's go down to Farhan.
Rod, conspicuous by his absence in this celebration is the coach of that team, Wally Buono, who's back home in BC preparing for the Lions next game. And he just said he wasn't comfortable celebrating with the franchise when he's coaching a rival franchise that now many people felt he should have got past that and been here for all of this, especially since they played in Edmonton last night. The one man who really understood was Dave Dickinson, because he went through a similar situation when he was the offensive coordinator in Calgary. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Lions did a celebration for him and recognized him in Vancouver. He said that was a very awkward, uncomfortable moment. So he understood what Wally was dealing with, but he did want Wally to know that all of his teammates or all of his former players missed him. Buono, for his part, said the one moment he remembers the most was that Edmonton victory in the semifinals. Stu Laird referenced it earlier when they had a final drive with Doug Flutie on the field. They needed to come back to win that game. He said it was an epic win, and it will always stay with him as the signature moment for that team in '92.
Look at my partner just soaking it up. Brothers forever, champions forever. Doug Flutie, by the way, did not stay around for today, was here yesterday as Mitchell lays it out again, and it is caught! It's caught! Markin Michel makes a remarkable grab for the touchdown! This is an absolute theft. Markin Michel, whose first touchdown was on his first catch in the CFL a few weeks ago, has caught for over 135 tonight, 3 catches, and watch him rip this out of the hands of Justin Rogers for the touchdown. How about that? The route is on. 2017 Stampeders putting on a show for the 1992 Stampeders. And Markin Michel, the year of the catch in the Canadian Football League, adds another to the ever-increasing highlight reel. What a toss by Bo Levi Mitchell. Former star at UMass, second CFL touchdown. Out of Orlando, Florida. Again, picking it up, no Kamar Jordan for the rest of this game. So next man up is the theory. And it's been working well for the Calgary Stampeders. Tenth touchdown pass of the season for Bo Levi Mitchell. Saunders. Downfield quickly again. Jameer Thurman with a special teams tackle out of Indiana State. Big plays. Punt return touchdown by Roy Finch. An interception return for a touchdown by Shaquille Richardson. Mark and Michel, huge catches. Jerome Messam, big runs. Bo Levi Mitchell operating at a high efficiency. Add that all up and it's 39-1. There goes C.J. Gable, has been maybe the lone bright spot. They started with him early in the ball game, and keep in mind, 9-10 minutes in, it was only 3-0. Punt return, change things. 13-yard pickup for Gable. Polaris puts it on the turf again. Once again, it's Gable churning for 8. 16 seconds left. What a complete display here by the Calgary Stampeders in this first half. You might see 39 points at the end of the game, not at halftime. Keep it on the ground again for Gable. And clearly the Ticats will have to limp to their locker room and figure this out. As they have been run right over. Polaris take a shot. Nope. That's the first half. Utter domination from the Calgary Stampeders. Big play after big play after big play. Stamps are stomping right now. 39-1 at the half. As we send it back to Rod Smith and the guys in the studio. 39-1, the score at the half for the Calgary Stampeders. Lighting it up tonight on the celebration of their 92 Grey Cup championship team. Looking like champions here tonight with more on the half and more on the Cats. Let's go down to Farhan Lalji. Farhan?
Rod, down 38 points. Understandably, the Ticats are pretty frustrated. They declined a player interview for halftime, but I did get a chance to listen to the coaches. Jeff Reinbold, you know he's got a fiery personality. He was very colorful with his defensive charges, talking to them about doing their job. As far as Ken Austin's concerned, he said, look, right now this is not about coming back to win this game. It's about proving to yourselves that you can execute in all 3 phases, because we haven't shown that yet. Obviously, the team self-confidence and esteem of this group at an all-time low right now. We'll see if they can get anything going here. And defensively, they'll now have to face Andrew Buckley. Bo Levi Mitchell mentioned at halftime he's been going through some things. He didn't practice at all this week, so Andrew Buckley will get the second half all to himself with the score 39-1.
All right, so we'll see Andrew Buckley, and yes, Bo kind of tweaked his arm last week, so it's been a little sore, but probably a little more sore after throwing for what he threw earlier tonight. The guy who got it all started really was Roy Finch. It's a 3-0 lead, and then that punt return touchdown, and then it was the Stamps off and galloping. Dave Dickinson, the 39-1 lead tonight at halftime, plus 38, the biggest halftime lead in club history. Previous was 35 points. And that was in 1994. Doug Flutie's team, the Calgary Stampeders, 50-15 lead. So a 38-point advantage here, and they're still going after it as Andrew Buckley completes the pass to Mark and Michel. And I welcome back my partner, who's sweating a little bit.
Listen, that's the most I've run in almost 25 years.
Well, you ran out tonight. Nice celebration. We'll show some of the highlights in a moment. We saw them at halftime. 27-yard gain for Mark and Michel, who has made his mark since he came into the Stampeder lineup. Again, first touch, first catch was a touchdown. 2 catches before tonight. Now 4 in this ball game, including a highlight reel catch. Now back to the Brampton bus. There goes Jerome Messam. Messam with a straight arm and brought down. Will Hill, Sam linebacker, brings him down. A 21-yard romp for number 33.
Well, a great job knocking things down along the left side of that line of scrimmage by the Stampeders. Left tackle Spencer Wilson, the receivers were in on that blocking scheme as well, giving Messam the edge.
Andrew Buckley, who's scored a touchdown this season himself on a 60-yard quarterback sneak against the Ottawa Red Blacks earlier in the season. Messam now brought down by Devon Coleman for a loss. And there's a penalty flag down. Looks like a face mask if they caught that. Might be a horse collar tackle.
It's just been that kind of evening for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Even when you make a good play, something goes wrong.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Horse collar tackle. Hamilton number 0. 15-yard penalty enforced from the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic first down.
There you saw the left hand right there of Devon Coleman come up on the back of that collar.
Andrew Buckley, 23-year-old Calgary native. What a thrill. Now he dances out, and Buckley, you can scamper down near the 2-yard line. Andrew Buckley scored 8 touchdowns last year for the Calgary Stampeders, including 1 in the Grey Cup game. First to do that, first Canadian-born since Russ Jackson in '68.
And this is a great opportunity for Andrew Buckley to get some extended, meaningful playing time. You see the good decision-making of this young man, knowing the field position. Just pull it down, don't try to force a throw, and make a positive play.
2-time Heck Crichton Trophy winner. For those of you watching in the United States, that's like the Heisman Trophy to Canada. Best college player in Canadian university sport. Looking to punch it in here, 2nd and 1. Messam goes backwards and is stopped near the goal line. Again, Will Hill and Justin Capicotti. They had to get to the 1, and they can reset.
They're marking it as 3rd down here, so the Stamps are sending in the big team.
3rd and inches, it looks like. Otherwise, had they gone to the 1, it would have been 1st and goal again.
You still see some of the Tiger Cats flying around despite what must be a lot of frustration and disappointment for them right now, but a lot of football to play.
That's it. Cats just need something positive. Buckley is not getting in. There is no signal here, but he did get the first down likely, and he would go 1st and goal. And Andrew Buckley, of course, infamous, I suppose, for the play call in the Grey Cup game where he was tracked down by the Ottawa Red Blacks. It led to a field goal for Calgary, sent the game into overtime. Stamps looked like they could have sealed the Grey Cup. You can see the ball.
Yeah, certainly past that 1-yard line.
Buckley again, Messam again, and there is still no signal. Thought he had the hat trick. He predicted it earlier. Looks like they're not going to give it to him. They'll make it 2nd down. Here's where when you got a guy like Jerome Messam from the 1, though, and you got 3 cracks.
Yeah, you got to believe
that one at a time he's going to do that. Hat trick, Jerome Messam. 3 times into the end zone from inside the 5 tonight. .45 on the board now for the Calgary Stampeders.
The sleeping giant, Jerome Messam, was certainly awakened last week. Called into very heavy duty against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It seems like this week picking up right where he left off.
Three-touchdown game for Jerome Messam. Paredes again. Stamps just keep piling it on. This guy pours it into the end zone once more. Stampeders' big horse. Jerome Messam, third touchdown of the night.
Mr. Ref, guess what? You're on Canon camera. I'm mic'd up.
Oh, pick that.
Now we've got a visitor.
Hey, it's a gopher. It's a sign.
He slipped. He gonna be on TSN.
Mic'd up players to behind-the-scenes action. CFL Wired brings you the latest CFL football highlights. Tuesday, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific on TSN 1 and 4. I'm not sure what they would get out of the Hamilton Tiger Cats microphones tonight that could not be censored, because this is not one of their finest moments, to be sure. 46-1. Dwayne?
Yeah, it's a long road for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Let's go, TSN. Just working hard, man. I'm trying to be great. One more touchdown, I could be like Al Bundy, baby.
Jerome's, you know, I think he has his best stuff when he gets on that cycle.
Back home, Jaja, Daddy loves you. Mwah. Xavier, I know you watching.
And completely different story on the other side for Kent Austin. He's got to try to figure this thing out. Brandon Banks gets the touch here. And as Kent told us yesterday, Dwayne, you know, that it's 0-4 and they're not going to panic. They want to stay on point, correct mistakes, focus on the process, not the outcome. This could become a very brutal outcome.
Yeah, it certainly could. And the thing is, you have to look at the small mistakes that have led to the big plays against them. You know, you can't just yell and scream that, you know, oh, you gave up a 50-yard catch. Well, what did you do wrong specifically? And sometimes it can be hard to maintain sight of that, but for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, that's the way it has to be with a lot of young guys.
Right side again, and once again, that field side. Seems like the Calgary Stampeders have been acting like vultures over there. Seontae Evans again knocks that away from Mike Jones. Fifth straight, that the fifth 2-and-out tonight for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So much time left. Castillo. Roy Finch. Another great starting point for the youngster, the Canuck, Andrew Buckley. 45-point lead. 135 yards last week against Saskatchewan. Close to 100 here tonight, but he has been the finisher, the closer in tight.
Yeah, Jerome Messam. 3 touchdowns thus far. He's got the hat trick going. Adding to the collection.
Might not be done because Stamps can still put up a lot more points here tonight. Messam gets some time on the sideline, and Jerome Messam, of course, has had some off-field, on-field issues in the past, has really matured as a ball player, and says a lot of it has to do with the birth of his daughter.
Just to know that she comes from a hard-working family, and that she, you know, we're gonna do everything we can to get her on the right start and let her be successful. So I think that with children that get to see their parents in predominant roles in society, or just doing something positive, that starts them off on a good foot, and kind of lets them know, like, hey man, if my parents can do it, I can make something of myself too.
Roy Finch getting some Messam time. Completely different tailback than Jerome Messam. And a big romp this time as Jerome could just watch from the sideline. But isn't that adorable with his young daughter Jaya? When we were there, she is. What a sweetheart. And it, you know, think about Jerome Messam again, you know, the stuff that it went on early in his career with teammates or teams or whatever, and maybe maturity. And we saw it a couple of weeks ago when he got ejected from a ball game. Here is a guy who also has grown significantly since he came in the game.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I think early in his career, people had concerns about that maturity. Again, we talked a little bit about it during last week's game. This is a guy who, in a very good 2008 draft, was one of the most talented guys in that draft class. Went undrafted because there were concerns about how he was going to fit in a locker room and so on. But as his career has gone on, you put him here with what is considered something of a model franchise, and he's become a model citizen within it.
He's unlike any back in the Canadian Football League. Big, burly, and powerful, and almost automatic and tight. Now Roy Finch, little shake, a juke, and Finch doing some dancing here. Roy Finch down near the 8-yard line.
Roy Finch ran a long, long way for about a 3-yard gain.
3-yard gain, and he ran probably about 35 yards.
On with Finch a little gas. Now the rookie out of Simon Fraser, Ante Milanovic-Leader, is into the backfield.
Again, the Stampeders are going to a lot of their B players here and cannot be accused of running up the score. They're just continuing to dominate. Pedal to the metal. There's Milanovic-Leader.
For some of these guys,
it's playing time.
Well, exactly. And from both a coaching point of view and a playing point of view, for these guys, it's very valuable. There is no substitute for experience. The Stampeders are taking the opportunity, given the circumstances here in the second half of this ball game, to get valuable playing time for some of their young players and have them prepared should they need them later in the season.
Milanovic-Leader has his first CFL touchdown. First 2 touches for the youngster out of Vancouver, and Simon Fraser, the 4th round pick, getting some playing time tonight. Powers his way into the end zone, and like these Stampeder fans tonight, a night he will never forget. You never forget your first one.
Yeah, this is a young guy. Didn't get the immediate invitation to the National Combine, went through the West Regional. Was one of the standouts there. Did a tremendous job blocking. That was what caught the eye of a number of teams. This is a guy who can play both fullback and back up at running back, as we've seen in the last couple of plays. Now getting an opportunity.
53-1. Ante Milanovic-Leader, the latest to join the party here tonight. What a party it is for the Stampeders. A 22-year-old newcomer, predominantly been playing on special teams. Ante Milanovic-Leader, and his first ever CFL touchdown.
I think it's a safe bet with that hair that the ball labeled Thor belongs to him.
It does. Lots of that hair here tonight. Alex Singleton as well.
Let's go, Jim!
Milanovic-Leader played both tailback and fullback. Simon Fraser, Jalen Saunders. And downfield quickly. Leader is down there for the special teams as well. You like that number though, Forney.
Yeah, it wasn't my number back in '92, but eventually once Andy McVay retired, I was able to take my number of choice, so I'm proud to see number 34 doing well here in his rookie season.
Jerome Messam giving the kids some love as well.
You know, and he might not be on the roster today if not for the injury to Rob Cote.
Yes.
At fullback. It's kind of opened the door.
Jeremiah Masoli's in the game now. This is kind of like one of those NBA games. Get to the fourth quarter, you know, it's called garbage time. And who would have thought garbage time would happen with still a quarter and a lot to play? But here's an opportunity to get some other people in the game, maybe protect some people as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of things at play here. Much like Andrew Buckley needs playing time in the event that anything should happen to Bo Levi Mitchell, Jeremiah Masoli needs that playing time as well.
Soli's played some big game football for the Cats through the years. Steps outside the pocket, and Kevin Elliott has his first catch and knocks the helmet off of Jamar Wall, and Seontae Evans a little over-aggressive on that tackle. No flag down.
Just getting back to the quarterback switch for Hamilton, the other piece that you alluded to, Rod, is protecting Zach Collaros. There's absolutely no point in adding injury to the insult of a 52-point deficit by getting your starting quarterback hurt in a game that, never say never, but a game that you're not going to win.
Soli out of San Fran, California, played at Ole Miss. Oregon as well. There he goes. He's good with his feet. Jeremiah Masoli. Big run here. 18-yard pickup. Shaq Richardson, who helped change the game, made the tackle. He changed the game in that first half with his pick six. Have you ever seen a game quite like this? And I'm sure you've been on both the receiving end and the giving end of games like this. And I'm talking about one-sided games. But have you ever seen where all three phases are absolutely unstoppable?
Yeah, and honestly, you sometimes have those days. Football is very much a game of intangibles at this level, where the talent level from team to team isn't that drastically different.
No.
Yes, there are differences. There's no question of that.
But not 52-point difference.
No, they're not such huge differences, and we've seen that in most of the games played in the Canadian Football League this year. But where the difference lies a lot of the time has to do with intangibles, things like momentum. Along with momentum goes confidence. Things like your chemistry. Little things that, as I said, can't be measured, but have an impact certainly on the performance of the team.
2nd and 10, Masoli again in shotgun. Has some time, now goes over the top down the sideline looking for Brian Timms on that fade route, and nothing there. Tommy Campbell shutting that down.
Brian Timms, a guy who hasn't been targeted a lot the first portion of this 2017 season. Someone we thought would be relied upon a little bit in this Hamilton Tiger Cats receiving core, particularly when Terrence Tolliver went down early. Things haven't played out that way.
Go Tracy, go Tracy.
Castillo off the side of his foot, bad kick. Looked like it did bounce though, near the 29-yard line. That kind of night. Bo Levi Mitchell shut down for the night. His work has been done really at half. 11 of 17, 197. Let's go down to Farhan Lalji now.
Rod, earlier in the game, Ante Milanovic-Litra scored his first touchdown, and the equipment staff saved the ball for him. Bo Levi Mitchell was hoping for the same courtesy a week ago when he threw his 100th touchdown pass. He threw it to Marquay McDaniel, and in his celebration, he wound up giving the football to a young fan named Cooper Johnson. He came back to the bench. Bo said, "Where's my football?" And McDaniel had no idea what he was talking about. He had no idea it was the 100th touchdown because Bo hadn't talked about it at any point. Eventually, they had to figure out they needed to get that football back. McDaniel said he was fortunate that he was in the first row in an area where they knew where he was. They were able to go there. They gave him a different football. They also gave him a McDaniel jersey. The whole team wound up signing it, and then today, they gave young Cooper a chance to be on the sideline during warm-up. At the end of warm-up, he had a chance to meet Bo. He had his jersey and the ball signed again. Pretty memorable occasion for the young man. And he just said, he goes, I think it was pretty nice to give it back. Fortunately, he didn't try to charge $100 for the 100th touchdown or anything like that.
Well, one step further, he might play tonight. The way it's been going for the Calgary Stampeders. Come a bit of a laugher now, and what a great night for Cooper Johnson. We did that game last week, and it goes to show you sometimes just go to a ball game, anything can happen.
A great moment for a guy who's a very dedicated fan. You know, they had talked about.
He had a great number on, by the way, his previous jersey. Did you see that was 31? That was your old jersey number.
My original number, yes, in my early years, but he gave that one up in a hurry.
Now behind him, Anthony Parker. So it goes dino to dino. Andrew Buckley and Anthony Parker. We don't talk enough about it seems. So many players in the Canadian Football League about, the natural progression for a player from university football. We're going to be joined by another Western Mustang in a few moments, but you know what it's been like, but especially here in Calgary and the Dinos, what they have meant to the CFL and the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great tradition in this program going back many, many years. I think particularly back to the 80s, starting in the days of Greg Vavra, another quarterback who went on to play in the Canadian Football League.
What a dart thrown by Buckley to Michel.
You look at a play like this and you wonder why some of the most successful teams in the league are successful. Everybody's going to have injuries. Everybody's going to need backup players to play. A lot of time it's going to be all about what those guys do when they're in the game. Look at Mark and Michel pushed into this game, into starting action when Kamar Jordan, their leading receiver, was injured early. Well, what has he done? Well, he's been their leading receiver today because that's the guy he needed to replace. Andrew Buckley comes in for Bo Mitchell. He continues to produce.
William Longley gets a touch. Everybody getting a touch here tonight. Mark and Michel, by the way, has 184 receiving yards on the night.
Yeah, monster game for him. Of course, we saw Travis Lulay a few weeks ago with the most passing yards off the bench in history. I don't know what the mark is for most receiving yards in history for a non-starter.
There you go. Find that out. Andrew Buckley, 5 of 6. First and 10. Buckley. Out pattern down that sideline for Tavares Daniels. And Andrew Buckley, who's really only received a lot of playing time in the preseasons, getting some valuable playing time tonight and shining. No, this is not a typo. 53-1. Calgary Stampeders, my man. And there's the Sponge who's going to join us in a moment as they salute the 92 Grey Cup champions. One of the greatest receivers in Calgary Stampeder history, one of the greatest Canadian receivers ever. Number 25, Dave Sapungis, who was a hero so many times for the Stampeders over the years, but certainly in 1992, when the Stamps beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to win the Grey Cup and enjoyed the champagne and is enjoying the reunion tonight with his old teammates. Good to see you, Sponge. Good to see you there, brother. And congratulations, 25 years. You look,
I know.
You look like you could still be playing.
I wish. If I had Flutie out there, maybe. But yeah, we certainly had a great week this week and a lot of laughs. And it's just great seeing some old friends that you bonded with years ago.
Looks like the current edition of the Stampeders knew you guys were in town.
Yeah, they're trying to show us up, I think, from the 92 years. We had some good games and some blowouts, and certainly tonight's a blowout.
Andrew Buckley, the young Canadian quarterback, at the helm here. Has it batted right back to him. So Buckley with a pass and knocked down. Right back to Andrew Buckley. I'm sure you're proud watching a young Canadian quarterback, but I want to go back to 1992. Take us back to this moment.
Oh, this was fantastic. I love this. This was, we went into that game, we beat Edmonton by 1 point in the Western Final, and then we went into this game feeling very confident, and we moved the ball well. I mean, it was great to be indoors with the offense we had, and scoring a touchdown in the Grey Cup was certainly a thrill for me.
What did it mean to you, Sponge, to be playing that game at home?
Yeah, I love that. That's right, Wade. I loved it. Had a lot of family there, and it was certainly emotional, and we, boy, I think we had a ton of people. We bought a bunch of tickets that game, but it was worth it.
You guys had your quota on Western Mustangs on that team, by the way. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thanks for the plug, hey, 40?
Well, we were laughing
together
yesterday. This is like old times for us, because I can honestly say, in my life, in all the football huddles I've been in, there's nobody that I've stood next to in more huddles than Sponge, going back to our time at Western.
We had a lot of fun. I know, what a night. Look at all the great players, a bunch of friends that we played with. They're all looking fantastic, and they had a great week. I mean, it is amazing when you bring guys back together you haven't seen for so many years, and because of that bond, you feel so good about it.
Rene Paredes to add to this margin. Uh-oh. Well, Buckley might be throwing here. Andrew Buckley now throws. And it's incomplete. That's the beauty of having a holder who can also throw, but there's a penalty flag in the end zone.
Well, we'll see if it's an ineligible man downfield, or, given the way Hamilton's luck has gone today, if this ends up being pass interference.
Bobbled snap.
The ring to play.
There it is,
Major
Rene
foul.
Paredes.
Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 30. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first
You ever
down.
been part of games like this in your
We
past?
have. We were on the other side once against Toronto. They scored 75 points on us, and that wasn't great, I'll tell you what. But isn't it great to see a Canadian quarterback out there? I love that.
It is. A couple of them in the league this year with Brandon Bridge as well, and Andrew Buckley. So first and goal. Been a tough night for Kent Austin here on the reunion night for the 92 championship team. Buckley looking to throw his first CFL touchdown pass, but he keeps it on the ground.
So, Sponge, what's been your favorite part?
Well, one of the funny things was when Flutie and I walked into the locker room yesterday morning, and we were there, and then all of a sudden the players came out from meetings, and they saw Flutie, and they went up to him and they said, "Flutie, we've got to get a picture because my grandma wants to see you." That was crazy. So you do feel a little bit older when you're around these young guys.
Time flies, though. 25 years ago, and it was, of course, 21 years since the Stamps had first won the Cup in '71. There's Buckley, and there it is, his first CFL touchdown pass, and wouldn't it be appropriate? It would be a dino to a dino. Buckley to Anthony Parker.
Regardless of the score of this ball game, a great moment for Andrew Buckley, and as you said, Dino football. We saw a few of these guys from both teams congregated together on the field before the ball game, having a reunion of their own. So many Calgary Dinos now in the Canadian Football League.
Sponge, you must have brought some magic to your team here, because being a Canadian guy, and you wore that Maple Leaf proud for so many years.
I sure did. So did 40. We loved it when the Canadians were out there and doing well. It's great to see this.
Buckley has his first touchdown pass. Milanovic Litra got his first touchdown. Parker scores. Sponge, great to see you.
Rod, wonderful. Thank you for having me up here, Dwayne.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, well. Thank you.
Champions from '92. Watching the 2017 Stamps roll tonight. There's another football for a trophy case. Andrew Buckley, number 15, his first touchdown pass as a CFL quarterback. And isn't that a great moment with Anthony Parker? Two Calgary Dinos. Parker gets his first of the season. By the way, Andrew Buckley, since he came into the ballgame at halftime, 10 for 10.
It's not bad.
60-1. In the year of the catch in the CFL so far, but also the year of close football games, this is what you might call an outlier.
Yeah, every now and then you're going to get one of those, and unfortunate for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Just 102 yards.
Just a dominant, smothering performance in every aspect of the game for the Calgary Stampeders.
And here it is. It doesn't get easier. There's
no relief in sight when you're staying on the road and your next game's in Edmonton.
Against the undefeated Eskimos. You're going to drop to 0-5. The Eskimos are undefeated on the season. How do you shake off something like this?
Well, there are some games that you're going to have where...
Well, Sponge said it, the 75 points, obviously they did. But still.
You know, as a coach, and particularly in the game of football where you're always looking at game film, sometimes you just burn the film and move on. Don't dwell on the negative. This might be one of those burn the film weeks for Kent Austin. Just try to keep it as positive as you can. The confidence, the psyche of this team
was fragile coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it's being beaten down enough by what the score is. I don't know if necessarily having every mistake pointed out and everything that's gone wrong is going to benefit them on a quick turnaround.
Feel for a team that's hardly been in the opposition territory. If it wasn't for Castillo's single punt, I mean, this would be a shutout right now, 40. I mean, that ball just barely got in the end zone. They've hardly had any drives. Might be one of the most lopsided games in CFL history.
Well, certainly in terms of gameplay, it has been. Whether on the score, we know the margin right now, certainly the largest lead in recent memory.
Third largest margin ever in a game, plus 59, behind a plus 68 and a plus 60. So one of the biggest beatdowns ever. Look out, Masoli almost took out the referee.
And the Calgary offense will get another chance right here. See another of the young Canadians, Michael Kashak, out of McMaster, in on the pass rush.
So Castillo once more. Bounces out of bounds. He's been the busiest guy here tonight. So too the scoreboard operator. Dwayne Ford, Farhan Lalji, our entire TSN crew here on what has turned out to be a nightmare night for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ricky Stanzi's in quarterback now. You know, when you go to a third string quarterback and there's lots of time left, that you are well in command. We did the game in Winnipeg the other night, and both of us left there shaking our heads and said, we do not believe what we just saw. I'm almost saying the same thing here tonight.
Yeah, for very different reasons. You know, as Rod Smith said after the game, for very different reasons, you're asking what just happened.
This one got completely out of control in the first half. Once again, it's Milanovic Litra. And Hamilton will get the ball back here. Again, the Cats, no rest for the weary, will stay in Alberta, play in Edmonton next Friday. Calgary travels to Toronto, take on the Argonauts, who lost to Saskatchewan earlier today. And the domination by the Stampeders over the Tiger Cats at McMahon Stadium will continue. Hamilton still has not won here. It's been Death Valley since 2004. Rob Maver. Guess what? Calgary's going to get the ball back again. He just roughed up Rob Maver as he kicked that ball away. 8:06 to go. Frustration mounts for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, and I think this is just a Tiger Cat team, again, just trying to make something positive happen. have my suspicions that the Stampeders may have also made a few substitutions on special teams that may have impacted their protection there, their punt protection. But Rob Maver takes one for the team. The Stamps offense will go back to work with Ricky Stanzi at the helm. I'm sure for Kent Austin already, the wheels are turning, trying to figure out after this, how do I get these guys ready to play? How do I get them ready to play the next one?
Clearly they're missing some personnel, but that can't be the excuse. They just offered very little resistance here tonight. Tonight they are getting manhandled. Let's go back down to Farhan.
Yeah, and Abdul Kane, who was supposed to be a bit of a spark plug for this defense, is now on the sidelines. They're saying it's an upper body injury. This, of course, his first game of the season. And just the general mood here is just shock right now. I mean, there's not a lot of intensity, not a lot of emotion. I think they've resigned themselves to the fact that this is a pretty ugly situation. The fans in behind the Ticats bench are screaming, and it's at moments like these when you actually hear those fans. Players are turning around trying to argue back. Nothing over the top, but certainly a very despondent group of Ticats. Not much in the way of tablet time, coaching, teaching. They just want to get through this.
Farhan, it also really goes back to last week. The gut-wrenching way they lost that game against the Edmonton Eskimos, and the residue of that, falling 4 straight games. Now it will be 5 games, and that dark cloud continues to hang over.
Yeah, well, and that goes to the connection between momentum and confidence that I referred to. When things go badly, it's you have that down spiral in terms of momentum. Your confidence goes right down with it, and the more your confidence goes down, the harder it is to get out of that hole. It's just such a vicious cycle.
So Maver again banks back.
I gotta go out. Hey, quad bunch pick.
Banks makes one miss and trying to get something. A few yards. So the route continues at McMahon. At halftime tonight, there's my man, Dwayne Ford, and his teammates from 1992. Look at, he's still got that. Still got that form, even with a tie on. Look at him go.
For 10 seconds there, you actually feel like you could still play.
Yeah. Look at that. How great of a moment was that, 40? Be out there with your... I saw you yesterday when you walked into the stadium, and I know you played on 98 as well, and you won a cup there. But to see some of the guys that you haven't seen in a few years must have been pretty special.
Yeah, it really is. Coming into the stadium, again, with so many guys that you haven't seen in so long, you wonder, is it going to be weird? Is it going to be awkward? And the second everybody's together, it's like you're right back in the locker room again with the same jokes and the same dynamics. It's a lot of fun catching up to the guys.
Who was the biggest character on that team? Or were there too many to mention?
There was definitely no shortage, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Bruce Coverton, even though he was a rookie, I think it's a pretty safe bet.
Here's the team picture yesterday with the Grey Cup. There it is. And again, Doug Flutie had to leave. He had a prior commitment today. He would have loved to have been here. Doug Flutie, by the way, was in Toronto on Monday celebrating it. He has a lot of reunions, that guy.
Listen, this is the week of Doug Flutie.
Reunion week. And rightfully so. A guy who won a lot and did so much.
Yeah, it's really not a coincidence that Doug Flutie was involved in a lot of Grey Cups and now, years later, Grey Cup reunions.
So, even yesterday, you know what I love about Doug Flutie? Is he's still a little boy. And I don't mean in stature. I mean in the fact that he still gets out there and play. And that's like all of you guys. The one thing you never leave is that boyhood passion of playing a sport.
Yeah, I mean, Doug was the most excited guy out there, I think, yesterday. And you would think for a guy who has had so many accolades over his career, has been to so many events and so on.
He's got the gloves on.
I mean, to me, he was the most excited guy. Rounded up all the guys, put them in their old positions, offensively and defensively, made everybody run a play and got in, broke down the Stampeders team huddle yesterday. You know, I mean, one of the neat connections going back to this week in general, of course, Doug was also part of the 96 and 97 Toronto teams that had their reunion last weekend. You know, and you see all of these guys absolutely captivated.
Well, Levi Mitchell told us yesterday how much he wished Flutie could stay, and he wanted to have a beer after the game and just, you know, get some more info, some intel from him, some valuable
just talk about
tips and the league and everything. That ball is knocked out of bounds.
But, you know, I was going to say that great connection between these teams. Dave Dickinson actually made the first start of his CFL career in 1997 in Toronto against Doug Flutie. And, you know, so to sort of see the two of them together as generations of Stampeder quarterbacks. And
spent time in San Diego as well.
Yeah, when Dave went down in 2001, they were teammates down there. So it was pretty cool to see the two of them back together again, because I still remember, you know, Dave and Doug greeting each other for the first time back in 1997 after that game, as Dave played a heck of a game. And, you know, Doug certainly was one of the guys that he looked up to, but seeing them kind of share that first handshake so many years ago, and now 20 years later as big parts of Stampeder history.
Hall of Fame quarterback with great respect for another Hall of Fame quarterback.
I consider him a friend and a guy that I respect and enjoy being around. He has a great message. He's been there. He's been basically discounted his whole life. He's been told he's just not tall, he's just not this. But I will say one thing, the guy always won. He's a winner, and he's fun to be around. He's competitive as anybody, and enjoyed having the whole group.
Well, Dave Dickinson knows about that. The valuable tools being around winners like that and the confidence you gain. Bo Levi Mitchell got that from being around the quarterbacks who were ahead of him when he was a third and fourth stringer. Dave Dickinson did the same thing. I think of Mike Riley. All of the quarterbacks in this league, that's what they have gleaned from those who have been here before. And Doug Flutie, quite simply, greatest CFL player ever. Wasn't here very long.
Oh, one of the great moments from yesterday.
Andrew Buckley, Bo Levi Mitchell, and Ricky Stanzi.
Yeah, you had lots of guys getting those position group pictures with the guys of the past with today's Stampeders.
When Doug Flutie won that Grey Cup in Calgary, Andrew Buckley was not born.
Yeah, I looked that up earlier too.
3-minute warning. Congratulations to those 92 Stampeders, including our man, Dwayne Ford. Still got it.
Look fast.
Still got it. Final piece of golf's Grand Slam coming up August 10th on TSN, the PGA Championship. Jordan Spieth looking for the final jewel and the only slam he has missed. The PGA, presented by Freedom 55 Financial. Two and a half to go. Hamilton Tiger Cats have only gotten as far as the Calgary 15th here tonight. And that's as far as they've gotten right there. It's been a long time. We talked about the last win in Calgary for Hamilton. Argos won the Grey Cup that year. Tampa Bay, Calgary, won the Stanley Cup against the Flames. Red Sox, first World Series in 86 years. Shrek 2 and Spider-Man 2. What is it, Spider-Man 8 now? Been a long time. Paul Martin was the Prime Minister. George Bush was the President. And guess what? The streak's going to continue another year here. And it'll be 11 losses in a row to the Calgary Stampeders. So this is the furthest downfield the Hamilton Tiger Cats have been able to move here tonight.
And it's been tough, obviously, for a lot of visiting teams to win in McMahon Stadium over the years, but feeling that more than the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now.
Masoli is picked by Joe Burnett. Stepped out of bounds, it looked like. After a while for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I'm sure there's just nothing you can say.
Well, Masoli with defenders closing on him. Again, just desperately trying to make something positive happen in this ball game. And it hasn't been that day. Joe Burnett, a guy who is a corner, led the CFL in interceptions a few years back. Now playing the nickel linebacker spot here in Calgary.
Last time there was a 60-point football game in the CFL back in 2005. BC beat Ottawa 61-27. 60-1 here tonight in Calgary. Joe Burnett picks up his first interception of the season.
I think everybody's got a souvenir ball over there.
They may run out of footballs here tonight.
Like going to the Oprah show. You get a ball.
You get a ball.
You get a ball. You get a ball.
Everybody gets a ball. And the Stampeders had a ball here tonight. And here's the thing. They shut down a lot of their key personnel for the second half. Just kept on coming.
Well, this is a team whose success over, quite frankly, over John Huffnagel's tenure as head coach and now continuing on as general manager. The hallmarks of this team has been their depth. Their ability to find talent, their ability to develop talent, their ability to replace talent when guys are either injured or move elsewhere in free agency.
Stampeders drinking it up on the sideline. Last minute, mercifully, is upon us. Nissan Titan, player of the game. This is a first.
Yeah, Nissan Titan, players of the game, but 60-1 can't happen with just one person. This was very much a game that was won and dominated in all three phases, and all three phases even contributed on the scoreboard. Offensive touchdowns, defensive touchdowns, special teams touchdowns. So for tonight, the entire Calgary Stampeder team will share the Nissan Titan player of the game.
Give it to the coaches, give it to the trainers, give it to the horse, give it to everybody. The alumni, you can throw them in there. Masoli running for his life again. Mike Jones on the far side. So it will go down as a 60-point night for the Calgary Stampeders. Third largest margin of victory, CFL history. Souvenir footballs galore. Andrew Buckley, Antti Milanovic-Litra, Jerome Messon with a hat trick. Clock ticks down to 27, Kevin Elliott. So now we gear up for week 7. Hamilton Tiger Cats, it doesn't get easier. Go to Edmonton against the unbeaten Eskimos. That's a doubleheader Friday night football. Winnipeg and Ottawa as well. Stamps are in Toronto and Saskatchewan coming off a win today against the BC Lions. Getting you ready for week 7. We had a lot of thrillers for the last few weeks. This one, not so much. Didn't start that way tonight.
No, it didn't. Hamilton came out and, you know, you saw some good signs. Ran the ball, a couple positive plays. Thought CJ Gable, when he had opportunities, looked good after sitting out the last few games.
That punt return and the pick 6, though.
Yeah.
And no life left for the Cats.
Well, and if the situation had been reversed early in the game, again, going back to that issue of confidence that we talked about, if it was Calgary early in the game that had given up a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown, their ability to rebound from it would be so much greater, not because they're better players.
Because they're confident.
Because their confidence is not as easily shaken. But a team as fragile as Hamilton is right now, and believe me, the way they lost last week against Edmonton was like a swift kick in the groin. And you have a couple of breaks like that early in the game when you're a team that struggles to score points, and now you're giving up points when your offense is on the field, giving up points on special teams. That hurts.
One of the game changers with the final touch, Roy Finch. 97-yard touchdown return earlier. The Calgary Stampeders steamroll the Hamilton Tiger Cats. One word: stampede. The McMahon-McMisery continues for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They've now lost 11 in a row to the Stamps, who have now won 13 in a row at McMahon Stadium. The magic continues. On a night it was all red and white. 60-1's the final as they salute the 92 champs. Good night, everybody. Here's SportsCenter.